Welcome to Talk of the Town, presented by Tree City Sports, your source for local sports. I am your host, CJ McClure, and I thank you guys so much for joining us again today. As always, we're rocking the shirt made by AM Creations in Ottawa, Kansas. Go check them out for all of your custom t-shirt, cup, hat needs. She's actually got a custom cup sale going on this week. So go in and check them out. See what kind of wonderful products you can have made. And as is my morning tradition, I stopped by Arrowhead Nutrition and got my morning drink. This one is the strawberry coconut, and it is fantastic, as are all of their wonderful products. Stop by there, check out all of their nutritional shakes and energy teas. Make it a part of your morning routine like it is mine. I want to give a shout out to our friend Royal's mom, Rita, at RJN Photography. Go check them out for all of your photography needs. If you mention the show, she'll give you 25% off. And my buddy Drew at D&N Detailing. Man, it's the time of the year to get your classic cars out, take them to shows, show them off, and be proud of what you have. When you want to get your car cleaned up, detailed, and show ready, hit up my buddy Drew at D&N Detailing. Alrighty then, now that we got through that, man, this is another fun one. I'm going to enjoy this a lot, I'll tell you that right now. Because it just keeps getting brought up and the wheels keep spinning even faster. Because the Big 12 is about to expand. You know I think that, and I know that for a fact, that the Big 12 is about to expand. And the recent talks of Florida State and Clemson joining the Big 12. Oh my, that could be so much fun for football season. We'll just talk about football season right now. Because adding those two teams to this conference, man, that is a stacked conference, and literally top to bottom, you cannot argue that the Big 12 isn't the best conference in the nation. Our lowest teams could very easily beat and compete with middle of the pack. I mean, and maybe even a little higher up on the Big Ten and the SEC scale. I mean, honestly, our lowest teams are so competitive that middle of the pack SEC teams wouldn't compete in the Big 12 in almost any year. Maybe they'd have a good season once in a while, but for the most part, they would be the absolute bottom feeder teams. That's not what Brett Yormark wants. Brett Yormark wants the best teams in the nation to join the Big 12. And that's exactly what he's doing. He is going after the best teams that are available to bring them into the Big 12. And man, it's incredible. And I'll tell you why it makes so much sense here for Florida State and Clemson. Because, yeah, maybe the money right now is about even. Maybe they make a little more in the ACC right now. But let's be honest. You take just those two out of the ACC, and that number plummets. I mean, it drops dramatically. While if they join the Big 12, the revenue that the Big 12 is going to bring in is going to expand so much that it's going to end up being a way more worthwhile deal for both Florida State and Clemson. These are great teams who are going to add absolute depth to the Big 12. And you can't deny that. And Brett Yormark is such a wonderful commissioner. he wants to do everything he can, not just to make the Big 12 survive. He doesn't want to make sure it survives. He wants to be the best conference in the nation. He wants to surpass the Big 10 and the SEC. And honestly, it's not crazy to think about the fact that, man, he could really, really pull this off. I mean, honestly, you look at the competitiveness of the Big 12 top to bottom, there's not a question. The Big 12 is the deepest conference in the nation. And if we add Florida State and Clemson, that only makes it that much deeper. We are going to see some amazing things happen in the next few months to a year. Believe me on that. We're going to see it. We're going to bring in teams, and we're going to make this conference even stronger than it already is. And that's just a beautiful thing, honestly. You can't deny the fact that the Big 12 is setting itself up to be in the best position that it could possibly be. And if you listen to what Brett Yormark himself said, he doesn't want to be on par with the Big 10 and the SEC. He wants to surpass them. And it's really not that crazy to think about the fact that with the potential the Big 12 has right at this moment, in 5 to 10 years, and 10 years is stretching it, in 5 to 10 years, the Big 12 really could show itself to be the best conference in the nation. And it's not that crazy of a thought. Yeah, maybe a few years ago, the Big 12 people thought was basically done, but the Big 12 is alive and well, and it's healthier than the other conferences as of this moment because of the potential they have to expand in a way that only makes them better and brings in more revenue for the Big 12 that they can spread to the other members of the conference. Bringing in Florida State and Clemson would be a A+ move. I mean, you can't deny the fact that Brett Yormark and his aggressiveness, if he's able to land them, that is a landmark move. I mean, that is a moment in history that will be remembered. And we're really close to it. We really are. We're a lot closer than most people think because of the fact that both the Big 10 and the SEC have said that they're done. They're not going to expand anymore. They're happy where they're at. And that they should be, unless they look at getting rid of some of their bottom feeder teams that only make the conference weaker. The Big 12 is the strongest conference in the nation, top to bottom, when you look at our top team and our bottom teams. Our bottom teams would be competitive in any other conference. It's not that crazy to think about. It really isn't. It's just the way the Big 12 is set up right now, and everything that is happening, Brett Yormark is doing everything he can to carefully consider every possibility and to see what might happen in the future. And the future for the Big 12 looks nothing but absolutely bright. It is a wonderful, wonderful thing as fans of the Big 12 to be able to see your commissioner care so much about not only the conference, but every single team that's involved to make them the best conference in the nation. And again, he doesn't want to just compete with the Big 10 and the SEC. He wants to surpass them. He wants to make the Big 12 a household name for the rest of the future. As long as college football and basketball are around, the Big 12 is going to be here to play. And the Big 10 and the SEC, the biggest deal with them and why they need to really, really be careful here, because it could get ugly very fast for them because of the fact that they've said they don't want to move. They don't want to accept any of these other teams. So the Big 12 is pouncing on the ACC, and it is going to do whatever it wants with that conference, basically. It can take any team that it wants out of the ACC. But the Big 10 and the SEC's biggest problem in this is they think they're all right just where they're at. They think that where they're at right now, they've got several miles between them and the Big 12. But I'll tell you what, especially if and when it's announced that Florida State and Clemson join the Big 12, that miles of distance is nothing. I mean, it shortens that distance, almost brings it to a halt. You can't argue that the potential of the Big 12 and with their expansion has the most potential out of all three of the power conferences. It's not crazy to think about, and it's a wonderful thing as fans of the Big 12 to be able to see. The Big 10 and the SEC have great teams. They really do. But their middle of the pack teams to their bottom teams would not compete in the Big 12 in any way, shape, or form. Honestly, they would get absolutely smashed. And it's not a knock on those teams. It's just that's how great the Big 12 is. The Big 12 is in the best position that it could possibly be. And when you look at the potential to add Florida State and Clemson, it only makes the Big 12 stronger. And that's all that Brett Yormark wants. He wants to give absolute strength to this conference, where they are the best conference in the entire nation. And it's just crazy that a few years ago you would have really questioned where the Big 12 was headed, where things were going, what was going on behind the scenes. And then when Brett Yormark comes in, I mean, he really blew that all the way up. The job he has done in his short time as commissioner should very well worry the SEC and the Big 10. They should really be looking at this as, man, what if they catch up very, very shortly? What happens if suddenly we get passed by the Big 12? And as I said before, and I'll say again, that's a possibility. The Big 12 really could eventually surpass the Big 10 and the SEC. And there's a lot of potential there in the other teams we could add along with Florida State and Clemson. There really are. But Florida State, I haven't had many interactions with their fans. I think they're kind of just along for the ride. Their fans are. So they just want out of the ACC. Well, the only other option, the Big 10 doesn't want you. The SEC said they absolutely don't want you because they think that Florida State is a very disruptive member of any conference. This is coming from the SEC, who literally just added one of the most brutal fan bases in the entire nation in Texas. You can't say that Florida State is more unbearable than Texas. I'll say that. Texas has been a part of the Big 12, and it was wonderful. They did great things with the Big 12, but let's be honest, we are not sad to see them go. Their fans are just horrid. Every single chance that we get, we will throw the horns down. Just not even a question. Because Texas's fans are one of the worst fans that I've ever personally experienced. I cannot in any way, shape, or form imagine Florida State fans being any worse than Texas. We just added Utah. And as I said, the very beginning, when I started this show, one of my big deals was Utah was complaining so heavily about joining the Big 12. They haven't got to experience joining the Big 12 and being a part of our family. But I've had a lot of great interactions with fans from Utah. And I'll say this, Utah fans are really starting to come around. They are showing themselves as incredible fans who really aren't that bad. They're starting to realize the beauty of the Big 12, and they see the potential of adding Florida State and Clemson, and they're all for it too, because they realize how much stronger it makes the Big 12. So I will compare Florida State fans to Utah fans in this. They may come in and be unbearable in the very beginning because they think, oh, we just had an undefeated season. We're going to run the table on the Big 12. You're not. Not in any way, shape, or form. The Big 12 is so damn competitive that you can't argue the fact that the Big 12 is the strongest conference in the nation, top to the bottom. And adding Florida State and Clemson, they may actually be good, great football teams. But you throw them in the Big 12, even with Florida State having an undefeated season last year and being upset for not making the playoffs, which they should have made the playoffs, but them being an ACC member prevented that from happening. So there's too much bias there, especially when Alabama got in on that and Georgia both. But we're not going to discuss that. What I will say is that Florida State fans cannot be as unbearable as Texas fans. We got rid of them and we're happy to. We really are. Florida State fans, no matter how unbearable they actually are, even if they are that unbearable, I haven't seen it, but if they are, it's because they're going to think that they're going to come in and immediately run the table on the Big 12. And they're going to find out the same thing that Utah is, that the Big 12 is so competitive that you may or may not win all the games you thought you were, because any given game could be a big loss. It could be a very close game. You could pull it out or you could lose. But every single game in the Big 12 is extremely competitive. And again, Florida State fans, even if they start throwing a fit, they start talking trash, it doesn't matter. Because honestly, they're going to come around. They're going to be just like Utah fans. Utah fans are great now. Once they saw how great the conference is and how much of a family this conference is, Florida State fans are going to do the exact same thing. There's no doubt in my mind. Yeah, they may be salty about the ACC disbanding and losing their home. And maybe they'll be salty about having to go to the truck stop conference. Well, guess what? This is the best conference in the nation. And Florida State fans, even if they are unbearable like that in the very beginning, it doesn't matter. They're going to come around and they're going to love it just as much as we are. Clemson fans, on the other hand, oh my, I'll tell you right now, just their fans make me want to root for Clemson, because their fans are some of the best fans in the world. Man, the excitement once Clemson fans started to realize that there's a real possibility and there are actually wheels spinning. on Clemson joining the Big 12, Clemson fans jumped on this ship. They jumped right on the bandwagon without even questioning it. They came in immediately going, yeah, we're glad to be here. Let's party, guys. I mean, honestly, they are some of the greatest fans, and they're great. I mean, it makes me want to root for Clemson, and I've never been a Clemson fan, but I've never really paid that much attention because they're not a Big 12 team. They may be a Big 12 team very, very, very soon, and we are closer to that than a lot of people think. And even if there's a very small chance, very, very unlikely, because if Florida State doesn't get into the Big 12, they're going to be left alone. They're either going to have to be independent like Notre Dame, or they're going to be stuck in a ACC conference that is not in the Power 3. Florida State does not want that. Florida State absolutely doesn't want that. Florida State wants to stay in the Power 3. And their only chance to do that may actually be to join the Big 12. So as much as they don't like it, it may be the only chance they have. And I'll say this, it would be absolutely incredible to welcome Florida State into the Big 12 as well. Clemson's already a part of the family as far as we're concerned. We're just waiting on the official word. We're waiting for them to sign on the dotted line. Clemson fans are part of the family. I mean, that's absolutely no question. No question. These Clemson fans belong in the Big 12. They see what a great family we are, and they see how just competitive every single team is, and how much all of our fans might pick fights with each other. Yeah, we'll jab you on social media. We'll give you a bunch of static. But when it comes to defending our Big 12 teams against a Big 10 or an SEC fan, Big 10 and SEC fans don't stand a chance. Not a single chance against Big 12 fans. Big 12 fans are absolutely the best in the world, because we may pick fights with our other members, but when it comes to conference unity, there is no conference, absolutely no conference in the nation that shows itself to be a unified family the way the Big 12 is. And it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. We are so thankful for Brett Yormark and everything he's done since he took over as commissioner of the Big 12, making this even possible. Because again, a few years ago, you would have thought this was crazy. Like, you go back 4 years ago and tell someone that, man, we're about to land Clemson and Florida State, they would have been like, what are you talking about? You're nuts. You're absolutely insane. But it's not insane anymore. And every single day, we get closer and closer to having Clemson join the Big 12. Again, Big 12 fans, every single one of us are excited to have Clemson join because their fans are so great. They've already joined the family. And man, that kind of unity is exactly what we want to see in the teams that potentially join the Big 12. Florida State and Clemson fans see what's coming, see what's about to happen with the ACC. They want out. And if the Big 12 provides them a home, a stable environment for them to grow as programs in any sport, they are going to really consider joining the Big 12. And why not? Honestly, again, as Big 12 fans, we want you to join. We want to bring you aboard as part of our family. The Big 12 is so special, and every single Big 12 fan agrees that we are one big happy family, And if you join the conference, you're not just joining the conference to play in any sport, you're joining the Big 12 family. And this is a jab at SEC because, SEC name just means more. The Big 10 name means more. No, it doesn't. No, it really doesn't. Because when you look at what a unified group the Big 12 is and how we look at ourselves as a family, there is no doubt in my mind that the Big 12 is the most special conference in the nation. You won't see it. If you're a Big 10 fan or you're an SEC fan, you don't get that. You don't understand it. And that's fine. We're not going to hate on you for that. I promise we don't hate on you for that. Because you can't possibly understand something that you've never experienced. And when you look at the SEC, man, look at their fans. Look at the way they treat other fans. And they don't care if even a Big 12 or a Big 10 member jumps on one of their teams. Their own teams will jump on them and talk trash to them too. That's what's different about the Big 12. The Big 12 is a family, and that family makes the Big 12 the most special conference in the nation. And so really, when you think about it, the Big 12, it just means more. And again, we have absolutely no problem losing Texas and Oklahoma to the SEC. I never really had a problem with Oklahoma fans. No issues. But Texas fans proved to be some of the most unbearable in the world. And I honestly believe that when we added Utah, we immediately thought, because of the way their fans acted, we thought, oh no, we just added another Texas. We just added another one. That's not true, because their fans are coming around. Their fans are seeing how special the Big 12 is and how great all of the fans are. Even Utah fans are starting to find out and starting to love the Big 12 just as much as everybody else does. If the Utah fans can turn it around like that, and it hasn't been all that long, it really hasn't. If the Utah fans can turn it around, then there is absolute no doubt in my mind that Florida State fans will be the exact same way. I honestly believe that the SEC and the Big Ten calling Florida State a very disruptive member and trying to talk down on them, I think that may just be them trying to get the Big 12 to not accept them, because they realize how strong the Big 12 will be if we add Florida State and Clemson. It's all about tactics. I mean, it's a mind warfare. You got to play the games. You got to play chess instead of checkers. And right now, when it comes to conference realignment, Brett Yormark is playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers. No doubt in my mind. Absolutely no doubt. And again, I think that all the negativity surrounded Florida State, it's just come out in the last few days. I mean, we really hadn't we heard a little bit of it before, but it wasn't as bad as it's been until the last couple of days. Well, I think that's honestly, once the SEC said we're not expanding anymore, the SEC just wants to see them not go to the Big 12, because they think if they don't go to the Big 12, then maybe in a few years they can maybe poach Florida State. Well, if the Big 12 gets Florida State and Clemson, then there's no chance of that, honestly. And so it's all just tactics. I think that the SEC and the Big Ten are just blowing smoke, trying to create diversion and trying to create a smoke screen where you don't really see what's going on. Because the Big Ten and the SEC, maybe they do realize the potential of the Big 12. Maybe they do see that what Brett Yormark is doing is absolutely incredible. I mean, maybe they see where the Big 12 is headed. Maybe they're trying to divert that a little bit, slow it down as much as they can. But I'll tell you right now, there ain't no slowing down for the Big 12. We're going after these teams, and we're going to make a push until we get the teams that we want to get out of the ACC. The Big 12 is in the best position it can possibly be in. It is a wonderful thing. And when you look at bringing in Florida State and Clemson, you know they're not just going to bring in 2 teams. And there's some talk of maybe 4 teams. Well, 4 teams put you to 20 teams. That's fine. No problem with that. But I think if we're going after it, we need to just go after 6 of them. Let's get 6 of those ACC teams, because I don't see how you could decide who gets in and who doesn't. Like, there are too many good teams to only choose 4. You bring in Florida State and Clemson. Obviously, those are the big ones, and those are our main targets. Those are our big fish we're catching. But if we can bring in Miami with Florida State, and then Duke and North Carolina, and bring in North Carolina State, that's 6 teams right there. Those are 6 really, really good teams. There was some talk of Notre Dame, but I think Notre Dame stays put. Honestly, I do. There's talk of the Big Ten doesn't want to expand until Notre Dame makes a decision. And if they want to go after Notre Dame, I think that's fine. We'll be all right without them. But I think that Brett Yormark will at least explore it as deeply as he can in a way that makes sense for the conference. But there's no way that you choose only 2 other teams other than Florida State and Clemson to get in. I think we have to accept 4 teams. And the other options here they're great options. They really are. Louisville's another one that's really, really good. And there's talk of Pitt. You know, Pitt and West Virginia having their rivalry for years and years. It's a rivalry. It would bring excitement to the Big 12. But Pitt is not the kind of team that we should go after. I honestly believe that we need to go after Miami, Duke, North Carolina, and North Carolina State. Maybe Louisville. Again, I think Louisville would be a really good team, a program to add. But if you really think about it, really, really think about this, and think about basketball season, could you imagine the Big 12 right now is already, by far, without question, without a doubt, the Big 12 is already, by far, the best conference in the nation when it comes to basketball. Nobody can deny that. Nobody will. We're not going to say, because you can't say that any other conference is even close to the Big 12. You throw in Miami, Duke, and North Carolina that, oh my. I mean, honestly, that is just stacking the basketball conference even higher than it already is. Man, just the thought of adding those guys to the conference, we'd get to see Duke and North Carolina play against KU, K-State, Oklahoma State, all these teams in basketball as a conference game. I mean, really, think about Duke or North Carolina coming into Allen Fieldhouse in KU, or for KU, as a conference game. Just think about the excitement there. You can't deny that that would add great games every single year to this conference in the basketball season. The basketball schedule would be insane. We would see some amazing teams, and it would just make it so the Big 12 had even more teams in the NCAA basketball tournament. It's not crazy to think about. It really isn't. I mean, you just look at adding these teams, and it's not just, yes, we were using basketball season as an example, because if we have Miami, Duke, and North Carolina join the Big 12 for just talking about basketball, there's no doubt in the world, absolutely no doubt, that the Big 12 would be solidified as the absolute best conference in the nation in basketball, and that alone would secure their survival into the future. Because let's be honest, the Big 12 is here to stay. We are making waves, and we're riding those waves all the way to the end. And it is an absolutely wonderful thing. When you look at adding these great teams, you can't deny how much stronger it makes the Big 12. When you look at adding Duke and North Carolina State and Miami, as well as Florida State and Clemson, when you look at them, the other teams other than Florida State and Clemson have made a decent move, made decent moves in football as well. And that's what the conference realignment really is about. It really isn't about anything other than football. So adding these teams to the Big 12, again, with their progress and getting better and everything that they are doing, the direction they're headed, they would be great additions to the Big 12 family. And we would absolutely, in every way possible, welcome them to the family with arms wide open. It's not a doubt in my mind, honestly. Especially seeing how great Clemson fans, I'll go back to this 100 times, because Clemson fans have jumped right aboard the bandwagon. They want to be in this conference. They see the Big 12 as a home, and they see the Big 12 as having the potential to be the best conference in the nation. And it's not a question. It really isn't. It may seem crazy to fans of the Big Ten and the SEC. They're like, oh, there's no way in the world that the Big 12 is going to compete. Well, guess what? The Big 12 is going to compete. So you just can't deny that. And adding Florida State and Clemson and these other teams do nothing but make the Big 12 deeper and stronger as a whole. You can't deny that. And honestly, if we add Florida State, Clemson, Duke, North Carolina, Miami, and North Carolina State, those are great teams in everything, in every sport. We are adding great tradition to a conference that is already super rich in tradition history. I mean, we've got some of the best rivalry games in the world. Look at Farmageddon is absolutely wonderful. It's a great rivalry. The Sunflower Showdown, all of them. You can't say that the Big 12 isn't very, 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 very special to all of its members. And again, that is what is going to solidify the Big 12 as a Power 3 conference, is the fact that our conference sees itself as a family, and our unity and strength, top to bottom, will allow us, especially adding these teams, will allow the Big 12 to eventually surpass the Big 10 and the SEC. It sounds like a crazy thought. And if you're an SEC fan, you're a Big 10 fan, you think there's no way in the world it's possible. But that's why you need to be paying attention. You need to be paying attention to what's going on and what we're saying here, because if you're not paying attention, honestly, it could blindside you. And next thing you know, the Big 12 is the greatest conference in the nation, and there's no debate about it. Like, you won't even have a chance to fight back. And honestly, the Big 10 and the SEC are absolutely insane for thinking that the Big 12 is so far behind them that they'll never catch up, because we really can catch up. We really can. And it's not that crazy of a thought. A lot of the people that are questioning it are ACC fans that just don't want the ACC to go away. As I said before, the ACC may not go away. The ACC may lose these 6 members and gain more from the American Conference or wherever else they come from, and they may still survive. But they will not be one of the Power 3 conferences. Absolutely no doubt in the world. The ACC is absolutely doomed. Florida State and Clemson are doing their absolute best to get out of the situation they're in right now. And that just means the possibilities for the Big 12 are so much bigger and better than the possibilities for the SEC and the Big 10, who just are comfortable with staying put and not changing anything. And again, that is why the Big 10 and the SEC should very well be paying attention to what's going on, and they should be concerned about the Big 12. And they're not concerned about the Big 12. They want to stay put because they think what they have right now is enough to be competitive for the rest of the future. When in reality, you look at the bottom teams in the Big 12, they compete in middle of the pack to even higher in the Big 10 and the SEC. You're like, some of these teams aren't that great, but they are. They really, really are. Because in the Big 12, any team, any year could show up to be a playoff contender, and they could show up to be a powerhouse team. It's not out of the question for any team to reach that. As bad as KU has been in their past, KU has the potential, and they very well could compete for a national championship in the near future. And I don't like KU, you know that. But I'm not going to discredit the absolute potential that this team has. This team could be a great team and could be very, very competitive in the college football playoff. It's not out of the question. Do I think that it's going to be this year? No, I do not. But I do believe that KU is headed in the absolute right direction. They're doing everything that they can to make it work, and they are building a wonderful program that they are able to compete with for the future. And when you look at other teams in the Big 12, our bottom teams that may not be all that competitive, in the Big 12 could be very well competitive against middle of the pack and lower bottom feeder SEC and Big 10 teams. It's not that crazy. It's not out of the question. The Big 12 is just that strong from the top to the bottom that you can't deny that our strength and our depth is what is going to ensure the survival of the Big 12 moving forward. Adding Florida State and Clemson only makes us that much stronger, that much deeper, and it just brings so much joy to all of us Big 12 fans, the potential that we really could surpass the Big 10 and the SEC in 5 to 10 years. It's not that crazy, no matter what the Big 10 and the SEC think. They think they've got so much distance between us that they're good till the end of time. But it's like the rabbit and the hare. They're going to get so comfortable with being so far ahead that they've let off the gas. They let up and they're just coasting right now. The problem with that is the fact that Brett Yormark is keeping his foot to the floor. Brett Yormark is going pedal to the metal, doing everything he can to make sure that the Big 12 is the best conference in the entire nation. He doesn't want to just compete with the Big 10 and the SEC. He wants to surpass them. And anybody with that kind of mentality and doing the things that he is doing, he has every bit of potential to pull it off. And I think we are a lot closer to landing at least Clemson and Florida State than most people realize. Again, Clemson's already joined the family as far as we're concerned. We're just waiting for the official word. We're waiting for them to sign on the dotted line. Clemson belongs in the Big 12. Their fans especially do. I mean, if we get Clemson and one of the first couple of years we get them to come to Manhattan, you betcha we'll be out there partying with those guys. Those guys will be a lot of fun to hang around because they already are. I mean, Clemson fans, you really never crossed my mind the fact that I thought maybe Clemson fans would be salty about having to join the Big 12, but really, in reality, they are the best fans that we could possibly add to the Big 12 family because they want to be a part of the family and they want to make the family stronger and deeper as a whole. Clemson fans are absolutely fantastic, and we are extremely excited about the possibility that we could even get them to join the Big 12. It's wonderful. It really, really is. And these Clemson fans, again, they have shown themselves to be very, very deserving of being welcomed into the Big 12 family with arms wide open. These fans are absolutely fantastic. I mean, you can't deny the strength of the Big 12, especially after adding Florida State and Clemson. And again, I do not believe that we're just going to add 2 teams or even 4, because I don't think that we can possibly decide who gets left out when there are options like Miami, Duke, North Carolina State, Louisville. When those are your options, Virginia Tech, I mean, honestly, if these are our options, that's a tough decision to have to make. It really, really is. And I honestly believe that we should, if it is possible, we should go after Miami, Duke, and North Carolina just for the absolute strength that it would add to basketball in the Big 12. So, I don't know. I really don't know who's actually going to end up in the Big 12. But I'm almost certain that by the end of this year, Florida State and Clemson will have at least announced that they are joining the Big 12. It's not crazy to think about. It's not out of the question. You look at Brett Yormark and everything he is doing in this conference, for the conference, to make it the best in the nation. There's no question at all that Brett Yormark is doing everything he can to make sure the Big 12 survives. And as Big 12 fans, we are nothing but thankful for everything that Brett Yormark is doing for our conference. This is a home to us and our teams. So if we can make this last as long as possible, and he doesn't want to fade into mediocrity. He doesn't want to be lowered down in the G5. No, he wants to surpass the Big Ten and the SEC. He doesn't have small goals. That man has goals, and he is working his tail off to make sure that the Big 12 is the best conference in the entire nation. It's not crazy to think about. It's not out of the question that in 5 to 10 years, the Big 12 could very well surpass the Big 10 and the SEC. No doubt in my mind. I honestly believe that. And it's not just what I think. I'm looking at evidence of where the Big 12 was a couple of years ago, where they are now, and where they are headed. The direction they're headed is absolutely incredible. And you can't deny the fact that the Big 12 literally has the most potential that you could ever ask for when it comes to expansion. Honestly, they really do. The Big 12 is the best conference in the entire nation, and they are going to solidify themselves as the number one conference over the Big Ten and the SEC. Again, it will take time. There's a lot of stuff to work out, and a lot of things could happen. A lot of things could change in the next 5 years. But if in the next 5 years, or 10 even, I think 10's pushing it, but if in the next 5 to 10 years, the Big 12 surpasses the Big Ten and the SEC, don't be that surprised. Don't look at me and go, why didn't you tell us? We told you a lot. We've been saying it for a long time now that the Big 12 really could be the best conference in the nation. We could surpass the Big Ten and the SEC, and there's no doubt in my mind that it is absolutely possible. And honestly, there's a lot of people that do say that, oh, well, that's just talk. They're not going to join. They're not going to add Florida State and Clemson. Look at Clemson. They realize it. Their fans realize it. They know the position they're in. They know where the ACC is headed, and that is into the grave. The Big 12 is trying to save these teams from going down with the ACC. We want to bring them in and make them a part of our family. If we can possibly add these teams, let's add 6 teams that will make this conference above and beyond better in every way, shape, and form. Let's do it. And that's a lot of teams in the Big 12. I get it. That's a lot. But if it solidifies us as the best conference in the nation, then you can't argue with it. And who wouldn't want to join that? Honestly, if you're an ACC school and you're looking for a place that's stable where you might actually be able to survive, the Big Ten and the SEC don't want anybody else. They're comfortable with who they have right now. So your only option is the Big 12 here. And if you really, really don't want to join the Big 12, you want to stay in the SEC and maybe keep it close to what it is, that's a nice thought. It really is. But in reality, it's not what's going to happen.
The Big 12
is going to take Florida State and Clemson. We are going to add at least 2 other teams. I hope 4, because again, I don't think you can possibly decide who gets left out there. It's too hard of a decision, especially when you've already got 2 members that you know that belong here, and that's Florida State and Clemson. I think that the Big 12 has the absolute most potential you could ever wish for in your conference. And adding teams like Florida State and Clemson make this conference so much stronger and will bring in so much revenue to the conference that it's absolutely insane to think about the absolute potential that this conference has. It's crazy, but it's not that crazy in reality. So, just all I'm saying is keep your eyes open, because the wheels are still turning on this. We're picking up speed every single day that goes by. Honestly, you can't deny the fact that the Big 12 has a lot of potential here and could do amazing things. And every single day, our sources tell us that the talks are better than you think, and we are closer to landing these teams than most people realize, especially after the SEC and the Big Ten said they don't want to expand at all. That, again, only opens the door for the Big 12 even wider. If the Big 12 is your only option, then you might as well take it. And again, the Big Ten and the SEC really need to be careful here, because if you let Brett Yormark gain that much control, you're doomed. I mean, it won't be that long. You might think that suddenly the Big 12 has surpassed the Big Ten and the SEC. You might think it was overnight. But in reality, it was not overnight. We've been building this program or this conference for years and years, and what we have been doing and what we are going to do will solidify the Big 12 as a powerhouse conference. No matter what happens in the future, no matter what the structure of the NCAA looks like in 5 to 10 years, the Big 12 will still be around and will still be an absolute powerhouse conference for years and years to come. Again, you'll think I'm crazy. You will say that this guy's nuts. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But I'm looking at the evidence of what the Big 12 is coming from, where they're going right now, and all of the sources that we have on the inside that are saying the ball is rolling on this, to really, really pay attention, that suddenly it could be announced that Florida State and Clemson join the Big 12. But again, it's not going to be right away. I don't think it's going to be right away. If it was, it would be amazing, but it won't be right away. I think it will take until the end of this year, potentially the start of football season 2025. But I don't believe that it will be within the next couple weeks. And who knows, maybe by the start of August, this all blows up even more and we add those 6 teams already before the end of the year. I'm all for that. Honestly, I really am. But I don't think that it will be that quick. It will take some time, and it will take some getting used to. So Florida State fans, even if you guys come in and are unbearable to begin with, we're going to cut you some slack, because as we've seen with the fans of Utah, there's hope, man. There is a lot of hope there. Utah fans have come around and they are showing themselves as amazing fans that are really tolerable. I mean, they really are great fans. So the passion they have for their teams is absolutely incredible. Florida State's the same way. Yes, they may come in and they may perceive themselves as the top dog. But once they get to play in the Big 12 and they find out the hard way that the Big 12 is the best conference in the nation and it is competitive from the very top to the very bottom, they're gonna come around, and their fans are gonna be a great addition to the Big 12 family. Florida State is not going to be the disruptor that the SEC and the Big Ten are claiming them to be right now. And I'm going to bash the SEC for even saying that when they just added Texas, because just look at their fans. Texas fans are absolutely horrible. Yes, they're great fans because they love their teams, but they're unbearable sometimes. You do not really want to go to a game in Austin as a fan of another team. Yeah, it's a cool experience, but fans are trash. I'll say that. And they're not Big 12 teams anymore, so I have absolutely no problem throwing the horns down. Forget Texas. They're not our problem anymore. We're focused on Florida State and Clemson right at this moment. And honestly, we could very well be about to see Florida State and Clemson join the Big 12 family. And as Big 12 fans, we are all for that, and we are all welcoming. Alrighty, I'm done with you for now, for today anyway, because Parker's going to save y'all from me, and he's going to give us our Kansas Athlete Spotlight presented by Arrowhead Nutrition. Stop by there, check them out, try all of their fantastic energy teas and nutritional shakes. Everything I've ever had from there has been nothing short of incredible, and everyone gets better and better. Everyone I try has been awesome. Stop by there, say hi, tell them we sent you, because they are absolutely incredible, and you want to make it a part of your morning routine the way it is mine. So, man, without further ado, Parker, take it away, bud.
What's going on, guys? Parker here, back with Tree City, here to bring you your Arrowhead Spotlight Athletes of the Week, presented by Arrowhead Nutrition. Our first athlete this week is AJ Hempful on the Ottawa University football team. Hempful is a junior from Strasburg, Colorado, in OU's 9th AFCA NAIA All-American selection and a 7th first-team selection. He earned first-team All-KCAC honors in 2023 and was named KCAC Defensive Player of the Week once. He finished the season with 136 tackles, 8.5 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks, 3 pass breakups, and 1 fumble recovery. He also had a career-high 18 tackles against Kansas Wesleyan University, and he ranked 13th in NAIA for solo tackles, 3rd in assisted tackles, 2nd in total tackles, and 3rd in tackles per game. So, stud out there on the gridiron, really showing out for the Braves the past couple seasons, and hopefully he can do it again this fall for the Braves and have a successful season. So congratulations, AJ, on one heck of a 2023 campaign, and hopefully his next is even better. So let's get into our next Spotlight Athlete of the Week. So our next athlete, don't have a whole lot of info on him, but Jimmy Thomas, All-State football class of 1985 for Southeast of Saline. Just want to recognize you here, Jimmy, for being a all-state football class. Even though it was back in 85, we still want to recognize all the athletes we can. So congratulations, Mr. Thomas, and let's get into our next athlete. Our next athlete of the week is Devin Foyle out of, sadly, KU. Go Cats. But he played baseball for the Jayhawks from 2016 through 2018. He played baseball at Fountain Hills High School from 2012 to 2015. In Fountain Hills, Arizona, he was one of the baseball coaches at Fountain Hills. In Devin's 4 years of playing varsity baseball there, he went to the semifinals of the state tournament in 2012 and 14 and 15, and he won the state championship in 2013. So that's an awesome accomplishment. You know, I never got the chance to win a state title at MHS, but I know the playoff games were some of my most memorable memories that I've made with my teammates, and for them to take home a state title, especially in Arizona, which is known for their baseball, that's super cool. And Devin was a huge part of their success at Fountain Hills. He was a great outfielder, hitter, and left-handed pitcher for the Falcons. He then went on to play baseball for the Kansas Jayhawks for 3 years, 2016 through 2018, before getting drafted by the Oakland A's, but next year will be the Las Vegas A's. So the A's, I think, have built a pretty good group of prospects up. They got Tommy White from LSU in this past draft. They just had Jacob Wilson from Grand Canyon University, their number 1 overall prospect, get called up the other day and got his first hit. I don't think he tore his hammy. I think he pulled his hammy after that first AB, which kind of sucks in your MLB debut. But Jacob Wilson, their top recruit, came out of GCU in Arizona, so I'm sure Devin will fit right in at the major league level hopefully one day. So congratulations, Devin Foyle. Hope you succeed and get up to the big leagues one day, man. So let's get into our next athlete. We actually have quite a bit of info on our next athlete. So Cody Wanklin, a Special Olympics athlete for, I think, maybe the Roadrunners. I'm not sure if that's their name or not, but he competes in track and field, swimming, bowling, powerlifting, golf, equestrian, skiing, snowshoe, and lastly, basketball. That's a long list of sports there for Cody, and great accomplishment, man. Like, for you to put aside all the other stuff and just go out there and ball out is really cool. And even powerlift and do equestrian, like, that's everything. So he really has opened up himself to really every sport there is to play. He's been a member of the Roadrunners Special Olympic team for 14 years. His mom is the coach. Cody has also competed with Beatrice Special Olympics in Nebraska for bowling and golf. SO Sports, he competes in bowling, track, field, swimming, snow, ski, snowshoe, equestrian, basketball, powerlifting, and golf. His national level competitions: in March of 2020, he competed at Colorado SO State Winter Games at Copper Mountain and Alpine Downhill. In June 2022, he competed at the USA Special Olympics USA Games in Orlando, Florida. So, heck of an accomplishment there, man. To be at the Special Olympics USA Games is crazy. Like, that's a huge accomplishment for Cody. And then this year in February 2024, he competed at the Special Olympics North America Unified Championship Bowling Tournament in Las Vegas, Nevada. They love to travel. They love going around playing sports with Cody. So I think that's a great thing to see. Next, him and two of his Roadrunner teammates will be competing in the Special Olympics Kansas State powerlifting competition, actually last Friday in Pittsburgh, Kansas. So outside of the Special Olympics, he graduated in 2019 from Wamego High and attended the transition program for 2 years. Sports Cody competed in while in high school: wrestling for 4 years, lettered 3, football for 4 years, lettered 1, baseball for 2 years, golf for 2 years, and Cody also wrestled in Kids Club for 10 years and was a member of the Rock Creek Kids Wrestling Club for most of those 10 years. Next, he was in the summer swim team for Marysville for 10 years and the 3Gs 4-H Club in Beatrice, Nebraska for 10 years. So one heck of an accomplishment there. He's a part of a lot of things, as you can tell. And at K-State, Cody was a member of the KSU football equipment team from 2019 to 2020. Then COVID hit and unfortunately ended it too soon. One day he hopes to get back on the equipment team, although he keeps telling Coach Kleiman he needs to be quarterback. Cody is a huge KSU fan and attends home football, volleyball, women's basketball, and baseball games. So he likes to support the Cats like I do. So yeah, go Cats, Cody. I mean, awesome to see you showing support for all our local athletes that play at K-State. This young man has bled purple his whole life, and he also travels to a couple of away football games each year. He also is the reason the Fierce Cats special needs cheer team was started with the KSU cheer team in 2011 and has been going strong ever since. So we just wanted to say again, congratulations to Cody, man. That's a heck of a career in sports. putting aside all that there is to hear the doubts and everything, and just grinding on the field, grinding in the weight room, grinding wherever he needed to be. So congratulations, Cody, and hopefully we can get you back on the staff here at K-State, and maybe you could be throwing a couple passes in the end zone one day. So congratulations, Cody, and go Cats, baby. And last but not least, our final athlete of the week is Kinnison Daisy out of Ottawa Raptors softball team. She's actually the catcher on the Ottawa softball team, so she's really the captain behind the plate, calling all the plays, calling all the pitches. So congratulations, Kinnison. We just wanted to recognize you here on Tree City, give you a shout out real quick, and that's our final athlete of the week. So thank you guys for tuning into this Kansas Athlete Spotlight of the Week this week. We'll have a lot more to come in the next coming weeks, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and let's get into a little bit more sports news. One last spotlight athlete before we get into the sports. I'm sorry about that. Just want to say congrats to the Post 60 A's, the Ottawa American Legion team. Today they won the Zone 3 17U tournament hosted in Ottawa, and will represent our community in the state tournament, or the Ottawa community in the state tournament beginning Friday in Topeka. Ottawa Post 60 has fielded at least one team for 79 consecutive seasons. So congratulations to that Ottawa team. Heck of an accomplishment, and hopefully they can take it home this coming weeks and keep winning, So yeah, let's get right into some sports news now, and let's see what we have to talk about. A few maybe players leaving their commitments, and a couple Big 12 schools maybe joining. So let's get right into it. So our first topic of sports today is Deshaun Brame out of Derby High. Deshaun was a 4-star tight end out of Derby High School, and had a bunch of Division I offers, but decided to go with Oregon in his commitment. But it seems to have been reported that it looks like he's going to be flipping to Tennessee and going to the SEC instead. So as a K-State fan, I'm just happy we got Lincoln. We got the 5-star tight end, but, sorry you Oregon fans out there. I know this probably hurts to hear, but looks like Rocky Top's getting another dog to come to Tennessee. So looks like they're going to have a hell of a team next year, and probably this year too. So I guess I'll look forward to that, but cool to see a lot of talent coming out of Kansas for football, baseball, all sports. But yeah, next we have a little bit of news about Florida State and Clemson. There's been some talks about them joining the Big 12 because the SEC and the Big 10 have rejected their offers to join the conference. So if we don't get Florida State or Clemson, it might be a letdown, but it'd be super cool to have the Tigers and the Seminoles in the Big 12, especially for baseball. I know they'd pretty much run things if they joined for baseball, but football, it'd add a lot of competition to the field, and I think it'd be all around good for sports and good for the Big 12, and it would make a lot of money for the Big 12 as well, even though it's expanding it out quite a bit, especially with the Arizona and Utah teams joining this past couple years. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and hopefully I can get back on here next time and discuss a lot more about sports, do some more spotlight athletes, and hope you guys enjoy. Hit that subscribe, hit that like button. It means the world to me and Calvin. Your guys' support means everything, and yeah, go Cats.
Thank you so much for that, Parker. We cannot wait to see the future of all of these wonderful, wonderful athletes from the state of Kansas. Our Kansas Athlete Spotlight is so special to us because especially our local kids here in Franklin County and Ottawa and the surrounding area, all of the kids that we can highlight in our spotlight, we are so grateful to be able to do. So go out this season, go support these wonderful kids, go to OU football games, go to basketball games, baseball games, softball games, whatever. Go support our Ottawa University Braves and all of the other wonderful, wonderful athletes from the state of Kansas.
Now we have something incredibly special. I forgot to record it earlier, so we're doing it out here on OU's soccer field. This is the hype video for College Football 25, Big 12 edition. Enjoy.
Football, man, they better get locked in on stopping this run game because that was a big-time game.
Got the first down, now looking for more. And they stop it, but not before.
Real estate gets tight inside the 10-yard line. You love a play caller who has the ability to either run it or throw it. That puts so much pressure on that defense.
Makes the grab in the end zone.
Now blocking. He's Brown, very ugly. I like it. I'm here for it. Block him. Oh, DJ! DJ! Dog! 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 Dude, he's gonna be...
the defense. Takes it the other way. He's at the 30. He's at the 20. Wants to throw on first down. Escapes the pressure to his right. Slings it downfield. Got him and nobody's close. more to the board with that trip to the house. Like a Thanksgiving turkey. They're just being carved. No shot. They have no...
They knew coming into this game tonight, they wanted to force feed him the football. They knew to win the game, they were going to have to establish the running game and be the more physical team in the trenches. You turn around and give this guy the ball, good things generally happen, and we've seen that over the course of this game.
From the gun, they'll give it on the inside. At the 35, he's got room. Running wide open down the gun of the field. Pistols firing on offense. The way this game started, you feel as if you have to score a touchdown every time you have it, and now we'll see if they can respond.
Yeah, and I wonder how much pressure that puts on the offense. Jesse, like, you know this is back and forth, and I got to score. And
Got a lot of running room. He's at the 40. Lowers that shoulder, delivers the blow. And he just kept running, and easy. The Knowles will try to kick this one deep to get things underway in the second half. And he takes this from inside the 5. Slips through the line. He's got an alley. He's going to get loose. He'll take it to the house. Touchdown, Memphis. Rolling again. So late in the half, this is really an opportunity, David, maybe to swing the momentum in their favor.
dang right, there's no time to be.
Nothing but green ahead. Quarterback gets enough. Oh, what a move. He's at the 10. Touchdown, Michigan. And once he found Ames, Iowa, where the Cardinal and Gold gathering strength as they gear up to support their Iowa State Cyclones. There's nothing quite like a great rivalry matchup in college football. The bitterness, the intensity, the lifetime of memories that will come as a result of what we're about to see in this one. As we'll see the number 19 team in the country, the Kansas State Wildcats, taking on another Big 12 foe, the Iowa State Cyclone. For EA Sports College Football, Reese Davis with you alongside David Pollack and Jesse Palmer. And guys, can't wait to get this one started. Kansas State about to kick off to get this game started. They'll run play action. Going to throw it over the top of the D. And it's caught inside the 20. And he slipped through the crowd and he'll house it. Touchdown, Cyclones!
This has been an exciting show. I've had a lot of fun with this, and I hope you guys do too. So With that being said, I want to give a shout out to AM Creations in Ottawa, Kansas. Don't forget to stop by there, get yourself a custom hat, shirt, cup, whatever you'd like. She's got a sale on her custom cups right now, so go in and check them out and see what they got. And I want to give a shout out to our friend Royal's mom Rita at RJN Photography. Hit them up for all of your photography needs. They do incredible. And my buddy Drew at D&N Detailing. Again, it's the time of the year to get your classic cars out. When you want to get it detailed, cleaned up, nice and show ready, hit up my buddy Drew at D&N Detailing. And last, but absolutely not least, I want to give the biggest shout out in the world to Arrowhead Nutrition for sponsoring our Kansas Athlete Spotlight and for all of the wonderful support that we get from Jared and his entire team here at Tree City Sports. Do not forget to stop by there, try their wonderful energy teas, and make it a part of your morning routine the way it is mine. This has been exciting. Do not forget to like and subscribe to all of our social pages. Hit that like button, drop a comment, tell us what you think, tell us your perspective from your Big 12 team because we want to hear it and we're here for it. Until next time, y'all take care now.